All right, so in lesson 3, we are going to jump back into Co2 and we are going to learn a couple of different things inside of Co2. So by the end of your lesson today, your goal is to be able to alter the terrain in Co2 and then to create a computer automated character and then also to essentially start actions immediately at the start of the game. So everything we've created so far has been something where it's when this occurs, do this. So it has to wait for some sort of action. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have something start automatically right when the game starts, and we'll discuss what that actually looks like and what that entails. So we're going to jump right into Co2 and we're going to look at those different options we have with terrain. So if you go into the Co2 Game Lab, which I already have pulled up, we're going to click on New World and it brings you to the generic Co2 screen. And then from here, we've talked already about the importance of objects. Today we're going to learn about the terrain. So if you look down on this bottom bar, you have a couple of different options with the terrain. First, if we click on this one right here, this is our paintbrush. And you'll notice that above the paintbrush, first of all, with the way the paintbrush is at right now, I can go through and I can either click and add or I can click and hold and I can add terrain as well. If you look up in the upper left-hand corner, they have a couple different options for you. It tells you that you can also delete the terrain by pressing the right-hand click on your mouse. So notice how I can go through and I can delete my terrain as well. So if I didn't like that green to start, I want something different, I can delete that out. Now, if you look right above this paintbrush, you first have a tool with a bunch of different colors. And this is where you select the color that you want to draw. So I'm going to leave mine at the green of 20. But this is where you can choose, and you have a multitude to choose from. So I'm going to leave mine at green. I'm going to just add in a little bit here. You can add in what you like, but there we got some green left for us. So the other option here, if you click over here, is you can actually click how you draw this. So you can click where it draws in a circle. You can click to have it draw. You can click, click, click. It'll make some different elevations in there. You can see how it draws in a little bit different of a way. So you have a couple different options here of what you can choose from. I like to stick with the square, but ultimately it is up to you. So that's the first piece. You can actually paint in here and you can actually create a very different looking terrain than anybody else. Second, if you go over, you'll see here that you can make the terrain rise. And then if you right click, you can make the terrain go down. So you can use the hills to create hills if you would like. You can also use this here to create a little more smoother appearance. So you can see here the goal is to make this slightly smoother with our hills and terrain. We can make it go up, we can make it go down. Here we can make some spikes. And here we can actually create and add water. So you'll see you have lots of different options with the terrain. You can paint, you can add hills, you can smooth it out a little bit and make it go down. You can create spikes, you can add water. So I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to delete this all out because I want to just, for this game, we're going to create a basic racetrack. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Another thing you're going to want to notice is that by using the arrows on your keyboard, you can actually make your paintbrush very large or very small. So what we're going to do here is we're going to design a very simple racetrack. And I would just stick with the green for now. And I want to make an S-shaped racetrack. So don't make it too crazy. I would just make it go up, curve, down, curve, and go back up. So you can see I have a nice S-shaped racetrack here, and that's where we're going to start. So what I'd like you to do is between this video and the next video, I'd like you to actually go through and design your own racetrack. And you can take as much or as little time as you'd like to make sure that it looks kind of how you'd like. Just make sure you have a start and an end, and then we will regroup and you will be able to then move forward and make your game.